You have it, I want it back. Is your personal data safe? Family records, addresses, phone numbers? Well, squeeze on over to freedomslips.com. Yes, that's www.freedomslips.com. Click the banner on the homepage for the EMP-proof bullet drive to get the full scoop of everything that we offer. So, folks, keep your data safe for your peace of mind. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
Warning, warning.
We gotta stop them! They're gonna kill us all!
See how the trouble you've started?
Be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings. Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
Right, you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hiya, it's Joanna Hart and it's Joanna Hart Show, coming live from London tonight. Lovely cool night across London, and we've just come into February, so welcome listeners. And I've got a bit of feedback, which, oh God, it's going to annoy me. A bit flued up tonight, but I've got a very talkative guest. I guess everybody has emailed me to ask for to come back. It's singer Brian Harvey, who's with us already. Brian, you there?
Hi, Christine. Yeah, I'm with you.
Great. I'm, as I said to you earlier, Brian, when we were talking, I'm a bit flued up tonight, so I'm going to have to rely on you to carry me quite a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot to catch up on anyway. Since the last one that we've done, I've spoken to Greg Miskill, who obviously is the ex-news editor that called on my sting operation, and also your ex-boyfriend. And I've had 2 conversations with him now. I gave him a ring. I managed to get his number, and I gave him a surprise call. And I wasn't horrible. I wasn't abusive, although I felt like, I felt justified if I was to go that way. And it was very, very interesting. And I mean, he's given away so much, and he's really been distancing himself from, all of the strong points that I'm saying. I'm looking for his reaction. And his reactions, I got to say, they were spot on. If that person was trying to distance himself from knowing that Rebecca Brooks knew that my phone was tapped, along with Millie Dowler. One of the main interesting points that Greg has dropped himself in it with is he's actually said that Millie Dowler was phone tapped.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, because that's never come out, Christine. That has never ever come out. All the inquiry with regards to the hacking has done so far, from my point of view, is look into this mobile telephone voicemail interception. And as we know, there was a compensation scheme set up for that, and nothing criminal as really. I know there's a few people that have gone to prison, but the main people have not gone to prison that clearly knew all about it. And I was very, very surprised that those words even came out of Greg's mouth. I mean, he said it himself, that Millie Dale was phone tapped. He didn't even correct me and say, no, it wasn't phone tapping. It was the listening to of her voicemail messages. Another interesting thing is that, and this is why that he was trying to distance himself, because what was the point? He when I ask him about my case, and I'm throwing loads of details at him that I know that he knows, because it's on paper, and he's trying to distance himself and say, this was like something that was like 16 years ago, and my knowledge on remembering anything would be, really slim. And then in the same breath, he remembers every single detail. So in his own words, to the end of a fart, of the ins and outs of Millie Dale's hacking, and in his own words, her being phone tapped. But yet I'm the same month, and he doesn't remember mine. Does that make any sense? That is a man that is still on the cover up.
Well, don't forget he works for Hacked Off. So he spoke to Graham Johnson to ask for permission to speak to you and permission what he can say and can't say. So, and I'm glad you actually put that to him about how you thought it was out of order that Hacked Off were paying him and Glenn Mulcair. Yeah,
because, and the thing is with Glenn Mulcair is, well, clearly, as you can see from my last video that I posted up, Glenn Mulcair's going one way with his story, which is that Surrey police gave Neville Felbeck Millie's number on the 21st of March, the day that she went missing. And Glenn's admitted to that. But then you've got, and also Hacked Off for paying him a retainer, which is also as double as ridiculous. And then you've got Greg Miskill, and both of these people were involved on my job. And Greg Miskill is saying that it didn't happen that way. So what is Hacked Off doing? Hiring these two people that they shouldn't be hiring, who are criminals, with conflicting stories as to where, why, and who started the hacking of Millie Dale. Now, what I think he's diverting away from, I tend to believe Glenn. I reckon Surrey police did give it out. And once again, I've got similarities there where my ex-wife and her mum and dad and her family she was staying with when we split up was in Surrey. And like I said before, her dad was a Freemason. And I find it very, very hard to believe that him being a Freemason and, he must go to the local Masonic lodge in that area. And he would know people like the head of Surrey police, the Masonic end of things. These people would know each other. And then also Neville Felbeck was an informant for Surrey police. So I find it very, very strange that, well, it's clear to me Neville Felbeck would know Surrey police. My ex-missus's dad would know Surrey police. And that's why the dad probably didn't pipe up when we were splitting up, kept very in the background, didn't say anything. And I think there were strings being pulled because the fact that I got set up by the News of the World anyway, clearly my ex-wife was involved in that. Clearly she was involved in it, which is why she can't look me in the eye today. Didn't bring my daughter around to see me, completely hid and hid behind my daughter to try and get what she wanted. So clearly she was a part of this, which is why she didn't want to talk to me. And that may well be the link there in Surrey, Surrey police especially. And it's the same people. I've been arrested by Surrey police outside a mum and dad's house years ago. Got taken away, put in the cells. And Surrey police are the same people that are giving out Millie Dale's phone number. Plus, Surrey is the same area where Millie Dale comes from. And but but then if you speak to people like Graham Johnson, he will say another story altogether, and that is that it didn't happen like that. It actually came from some other private investigator. I can't remember his name now. It wasn't John Boyle, who you was mentioning. It was someone else.
Andy Gadd?
No, not a Whitmore or some. Is it a Whitmore or someone like that?
Oh, Steve Whitmore, yeah, Steve Whitmore.
That might, yeah. And they're blaming it on him. So all of these people that are back at Hacked Off, Glenn Mulcair, Graham Johnson as well, another person that admitted hacking. What are you doing working at Hacked Off, who are supposed to be campaigning for a free and open press? I mean, while you're at it, you might as well go and pay Sidney Cook, mightn't you, to go and commit his crime still?
I know. I don't get it myself. He's on $5,000 a month from them.
That says it all, doesn't it?
It's weird.
That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening as much as the police shouldn't be taking on illegal transcripts from Robert Kellaway, and them transcripts, the telephone conversations that them transcripts were recorded by Comrade Brown, who only works with Mazza Mahmood. Everyone's saying it. It's like I'm the last one to find that point out, but everyone's saying it. Even Peter Duke said, where there's Comrade, there's Mazza. And even Greg started to come round when I really put it on him in the end, because I started to get angry with him towards the end. I thought, no, don't keep distancing yourself. You called the job on. I said, all right, so did you send Robert Kellaway to Chingford? Well, yes, of course I did. Right. Did you send Comrade Brown? Well, I'm not sure. Right. That answer there, I'm not sure, tells me.
So what went on in Chingford? Just remind me.
Which is where they said, where Greg sends out Comrade and probably Mazza and Kellaway and Stian Alexander. There's another one whose name hasn't come up yet. I forgot he was there. He's there and all. Got your police witness statement, Stian. Right. So Greg has sent them all there, because if you look at Robert Kellaway's police,
hang on, what was going on in Chingford?
This is where they come to set me up. They come down to my area to set me up with this Zorba guy who lived in Chingford.
Oh, I see. And was that the only time? No, when was it you went to prison? I'm just confused.
Right. This is what it is, right? The confusing thing is where I go to prison is that the News of the World already knew that my ex-wife had an injunction taken out on me, right? Mm-hmm. That means you can't go near your own house that you're paying for. That means you can't go and see your daughter, who you made with your wife. You can't go anywhere near any of your stuff that you've worked in E17 for all your life. Now, what is that all about? But I had to suffer that, so there's an injunction. I can't go near anything that's mine, right? Wow. So Robert Kellaway knows there's an injunction because, like I said, I've got his transcript of him calling my ex-wife. And it's the same day he leaves a message on my phone, which should be on page 59 of the Mulcair notes. And he rings her and he says to her, I don't know whether you know, but basically we're running a story on Brian and he's been trying to set you up. All the while he thinks we're going to do it for him, but secretly we're recording him and going to the police with it. Now, Kellaway knew that all she had to do was go and make a complaint, and then they get what they want. They obviously wanted me arrested. When that didn't work, they upped their game. Right?
And then what happened?
Well, that's then when they come along and they say, yeah, I've given a geezer cocaine. Now, the funny thing is with that cocaine, or alleged cocaine, because I never got to examine it, right, is that this cocaine comes from or ends up at Dr. Jack Chuddy. Have you ever heard of him before? Volker Science.
Yeah, I remember posting stuff through his letterbox.
Right. So this Chuddy guy, he's not the police's forensic expert. He's a friend of the News of the World. So when they want to stitch someone up, for some reason, they think that they can say they've got gear and that they've left it with a forensic expert who holds a Home Office license to have controlled substances around him. Nice cover, well convenient for the News of the World. Problem is that I'm in the paper on the 5th of May, like being painted up like some animal. And the police allegedly don't get any suspected cocaine until over a month later. The damage is already done by that point. We're talking 22 days after the story's been published.
What did the story say?
The story, the headline was E17 stars coke sting on X.
Oh, right.
Right, which is just bollocks. There was no need for me to go to prison.
Were you supposed? I should probably read the story. Were they saying that you were going to plant coke on her?
Basically, if you believe this Zorba guy, who Peter Jukes just happens to keep saying, I'm sure I've seen this Zorba in a Mazza file. There you go. There's Mazza again. I mean, we've already got Comrade. Do you know what I mean? And then you've said yourself, and so many other people have said it. That's a Mazza sting. You know, I've got Peter Jukes saying it. If Comrade's recording you, that's Mazza.
And did Greg enlighten you?
No. He steered away from it because I'm going on like this. I mean, I'm convinced this Mazza being in the background on my sting is a fact. It's a fact. And if I'm wrong,
and what did Greg say? I think he said that he thought he was involved, didn't he?
All he done was distance himself, Chris. All he done, I said, look, right, I know that you got Glenn Mulcair doing my mobile on the 2nd of the 5th, 02. Also on the 2nd of the 5th, 02, Robert Kellaway, who supposedly knows nothing about hacking, right, is transcribing his illegal recordings, some he's recorded and some Comrade's recorded, right, via phone tapping and the other thing that you wear over your ear and the wallet recorder. 3 different recording devices. I forget where I was going now. It's just so much information floating around in my head. Where was I at just then before that? What was I saying?
The recording devices that they wear and what Kellaway had written up about you.
No, sorry, the point's gone out of my head now. That's what I'm saying. I have to keep going when I'm explaining things.
So on Mulcair's notes, it had Neville though in the corner. Neville had.
Yeah, page 60, top left. It was for Neville, and Glenn's confirmed this because don't forget he's been round here. And the date is the 2nd of the 5th, 02.
So if it was Neville, Brian, then it wasn't Mazza.
Then it wasn't what?
Then it couldn't have been Mazza actually because Neville and Mazza didn't really get on.
Yeah, but Comrade's there. So wherever there was Comrade, there was Mazza. And maybe Mazza's name has never come to the forefront in mine. It's everyone else telling me, well, if Comrade's there, Mazza's there.
No, yes, I agree. Conrad just worked for Mazza.
But what I do know on the other side of it is people are giving statements here, Chuddy and everyone else, and I've got on paper, according to everyone else, all the people that are involved in this, 4 different weights of gear. Alleged gear, cocaine I'm talking about, right? Now, why is there 4 different weights going on? Why is there 3 different coloured paper packets and people not signing this and signing and sealing it and putting into a drugs bag and numbering it? And the main thing, why wasn't I arrested on the spot? Because Zorba's old man was active old Bill at the time, right? Chickford. So why wasn't I arrested on the spot if I've supposedly given someone cocaine? Why does it take over a month for this alleged cocaine to get to the police? You'd do me on the spot where your pants are down and you're caught out. If that was the case, you wouldn't wait about. You wouldn't wait about for a month, but they had to hang about for a month while they decided how they was going to play it and what they was going to do. And in doing that, that's where they've messed up. Because they know they went out on a limb to set me up. I don't know why, but that's what I'm trying to get to the root of. But they went out on a limb. And Richard Mallet in 2002 even says that the news of the world are worried that the word on the street, this is his words, are worried that they know that they set BH up. Right? And I've even got the document here. And then there's a quote from Rebecca Wade, as she was called back then. Rebecca Wade apparently very unhappy about the way the case was handled, does not want to be called to court. Like what? You got a choice in whether you go to court or not. I mean, I know your boyfriend's Rupert Murdoch and he controls the Attorney General, so maybe that's how you're working it, isn't it? Because you destroyed all your evidence, Rebecca, and you didn't go to prison. That's perverting the course of justice. Now, if I was to go around destroying evidence, I'd be going to prison. Why are you any different? Answer, Rupert Murdoch. Why? Because he controls everything. He's controlling Scotland Yard. That's why Scotland Yard are blanking out their notes, their Mulcair notes, and sending them to Richard Mallet to come to me. Because Mallet would have been saying to him, he won't even remember that number. But Richard Mallet had that number all the way along. Why didn't he cough up in the beginning and say, oh, I've got the number, don't worry. All right, because they're all in on it. And then Richard Mallet's working with Duncan Larkham in 2014 at the same time as he's representing me. Job done, the end. They are.
So it had Neville's name on your particular job, so that means Neville had something to do with it.
That means that, sorry?
That means that it was Neville's job as well?
Yeah, well, it must have been. You know, Neville must have tasked Glenn to do me that day. And lo and behold, he's Surrey informant, Agent George. And my ex-missus is living in Surrey at that time.
Yes. Did he then have his name on the story?
No, it was Robert Kellaway.
That's weird, isn't it?
Well, Robert Kellaway was the head journalist. He's ringing up my ex-missus. He seemed to be the one in control. He was head journalist. In his police witness statement, he says, I'm in one hand, I'm talking on the phone to this Kamal, and I'm talking over the shoulder to Greg, but they've spelt his name wrong. It's gone Miskin. There's a lot of spelling mistakes in there in that paperwork as well, which is strange, and I'll come to that later. I'm talking over the in one hand, I've got Cam on the phone, and then I'm talking over the shoulder to Greg Miskill, who was the news editor of the time. And then Greg, they say that they offered £5,000 initially, and this bloke saying something about no, he wants more than that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
it speaks for itself.
There's so many people involved in the whole thing, and Greg can't.
Someone's targeting me, Chris. Like it's got to be Watkins, right? It's got to be because of what I know about him. He must know all these people, these John Boyles and John Listeners, and you know what that world's like. Everyone knows everyone. You talk about so you could be talking to someone that's best friends with the person you're talking about. Mm. Do you know what I mean? It's just wonky, mate. You know, but the fact is they're all in the wrong. You're all in the wrong. Distance yourself all you like. Rebecca Brooks called my job on. I said to Greg, who's instructed you to do it? I said, was it Rebecca Brooks? Well, of course it wasn't. That means, yes, it was. Because I've got a quote from her, so she knew about it. So
who was above Greg back then? What year was it?
Andy Coulson, because he's on the email.
Because one second, because what year was it?
2002.
Oh, okay, it would have been Andy Coulson, yeah.
Yeah, and he's on the email. Like, what I'm saying to you is you know when they printed guilty, when I got not guilty? Mm. Right. That story that goes with that picture, within that story, a few of the lines, not all of them, are from private telephone conversations. Some of it's from the wallet recorder that the guy does in the car. That's not hacking, right? Some of it is from recordings that they haven't disclosed, but they're happy to give us it in transcript form, right? All of their edits and their compilations. Of course, they're going to put it together as bad as they can make it look. But the fact is, would I ever have even known who that Zorba geezer was if these lot hadn't, in Malik's words, know that they were setting me up? They went out on a limb, and because they went out on such a limb, here we are 16 years later, and it's backfired on them massively, and all they can do is go quiet about it. Mm. You know what I mean? Greg's admitted it. He's admitted it, and he's admitted phone tapping. That's criminal. We're not talking about claims no more. We're talking about criminal now. Interception communications, a breach of the RIPA 2000, Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act 2000. 2002 I got done, so it was in force by then. Here we go. So he can sit on the phone all he likes, playing like, you know, if you want to go there, that's fine. Mate, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Absolute fool. You know. Do you think I'm stupid? Did you send Conrad out? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to put your name to Conrad Brown because, you know, Mazza's involved and it puts him in it. And Conrad's doing the recordings. Kellaway's transcribing 2nd of the 5th 02. And Mulcair's doing it at the same time. So through association, Mulcair, Conrad, Mazza, all on the same job. All coming from me.
And did you go to, excuse my ignorance, did you go to prison?
I went to prison for a month because the judge in the family court, where the injunction was taken out, in the family court, had seen their story. I was in there, I think I was in there on the Friday or something, right? There was a case between us, and I was in there, and then over the weekend, the judge in the family court has seen their story, their sting, and gone, well, I've just done this injunction. He's breached it. Put him away, 56 days. Not asking whether, you know, was it true? Not asking, well, why did the police get these so-called drugs a month later, 22 days after you put him in the paper, making him look guilty? And even when I do get cleared a year later, guilty, they put. Listen to our hate-filled tapes. Well, let's have your tapes now. Not your edits, your original.
And
your originals.
sorry.
The originals that Tom Crone didn't release. Head of News International, PLC Legal. Tom Crone.
And one sec, Brian, sorry, one sec. So what prison was that?
I went to Chelmsford. I was put in Pentonville for a night, and then from there I was taken to Chelmsford. And guess what? While I'm in Chelmsford, without a solicitor, right, depressed, not knowing what's going on, they then decide, Nottingham Police, to come down and get me to try and do the video lineup for the people that attacked me in 2001 with a machete. Now, that was planned. I didn't have any representation with me. I was woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning one morning, taken over to the other side of Chelmsford Prison on my own, walked into a cell where there was a screen and a video player. A man sat down saying he represents the other lot, right? And they had 2 tapes of them. Can you pick out the people that you said on any of these 2 tapes? I've got no representation, nothing. I've just woke up, right? And I've been walked out. I'm in prison. I shouldn't be there. And I'm walked over to this other side at 6 o'clock in the morning. I said it was either 2 and 4 on the first tape or it was so-and-so on the second tape, because there was about 5 of them. And because I didn't make a positive ID, these people got off. Now, that tells me that that was all colluded together to get me to do the lineup while I'm in prison on another offence. I've got no defence, and then boom, the people are out of it, right? And that's because the police and the News of the World were involved in that in the first place, which is why they got me to do the lineup while I was inside on something else. I'm stupid. I'm clocking everything they're doing. And I'll tell you what, the police, Metropolitan Police, Essex Police, the Crown Prosecution Service, the Attorney General, Theresa May, David Cameron, John Major, you are all fucked.
So back because I know the listeners might be getting lost with all the names and everything. So I just want to stick to emotions. So how did you feel, just back to your first night in prison, how were you feeling?
I was just trying to get my head around it. I'm in Pentonville, and it's like, I knew I was going there. I'm driven there from the family court by some officers. I remember stopping at a shop on the way, getting some cigarettes and going there thinking like, right, what am I walking into now? And then we went in the back gate. And as we're going in the back gate, I can just hear my name, man, being shouted out like a wave of voices, man. You can hear it. It's like people are waiting for you to come in. And then you go in this side entrance. And the second you walk in that place, you know, you're not all of them. Some of the screws were really nice. There was one in there. His name was Fitz. He was a nice bloke. Got me a job in there. It was nothing wrong with him. Lovely bloke. Walden was fine, you know. But I know it's probably part of the act, the treatment. As soon as you walk in, stand on that yellow square. They're taking a picture of you. They give you a big, long, clear, see-through bag that's as big as you. and some long thing with a few bits in it, and then they go and send you in some sweaty room with about 30, 40 other people that are waiting to get taken out of there and allocated to different wings and cells. And I'm just sitting there, the floor's all wet, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there with a suit on with this bag in my hand thinking, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. What am I doing here? Why is this happening to me? Who's behind this? Why is this happening to me? I've done nothing wrong to no one. If anything,
sorry, what was everyone? The prisoners were chanting your name as you come in.
Yeah, through the back, like whoever was in their cells, and as we come to the back, like you could hear it, people singing different songs and all that. But I just thought, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? And I went in, and then eventually I got put in. I was last. And then one of the guys that was in there, like a sort of short, stocky white guy, who was walking about in there, he had his top off and that. And I ended up being put in a cell last, and they put me in the cell with him. So he was already in there. As they've opened the toilet door, he's sitting on the toilet having a number two. And I've just walked in and thought, oh, mate, here we go. You know what I mean? Here we go. And, you know, the guy was all right. I mean, I think he might have been on the old crack pipe, but he was, you know what I mean, he was nice enough to me. Once I explained things, he's getting all hype, saying to me, no, bruv, we've got to write a letter to the judge, man. And he really believed, like, no, we can get you out. And I'm thinking, like, listen, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then he pulled out a little lump of ash to smoke and that. I don't know whether he plugged it or not, you know what I mean? I didn't ask. or how he got it there. And then I started skinning up a spliff, and then I had the door go. And I thought, oh, mate, so I quickly rolled it up because I was just making the bed, the bunk and that. So I rolled it up in that, and then the geezer comes in, come on, Harvey, you're being moved. And I thought, oh, you know what I mean? Just I started talking to someone, and sort of, yeah, he moved. And they took me over to the healthcare wing. So clearly, they knew about my condition then. Right, put me on the healthcare wing, and then I think I was in court again the next day, and I was in the holding cells at Chelmsford, and then they bring you up, didn't they? And then I think it was for sentence. I can't remember. It's all just sort of rolls into one, really, the story. But I remember that.
Then what prison did you go to?
That being the point, then, yeah, coming out, going in, getting in the van thing, in the lockup, and then being taken to Chelmsford prison.
Was that, what kind of prison is that? Is that top security or?
It's no, just normal, really. You know what I mean? Just a normal prison. It was actually all right. It was all right. And
did you mix in with the other men?
Yeah. The first couple of nights on governor's orders, they'd put me in the healthcare wing again. So, and then the first morning that I woke up, one of the screws come in, and he was a guy, I remember him, his name was Fitz, and he was a nice bloke. And he come in, he's gone, look, I've gone out on a bit of a limb here for you, and there's a job there if you want it. And I said, all right, like, what is it? And he said, like, just an orderly. So it was mopping up. Craig, the red band, who was my cellmate, he was a red band, so he'd go over and get all the food and stuff, and then we'd have that trolley going across the kitchen door, and we'd have to serve up the food and then clear up after, you know what I mean, go and take it round the cells. You're opening up these hatches on the cells, bringing people sandwiches round to them and that, and some of the things you see when you look through there, you know what I mean, you ain't ready for.
Really? Like what?
Yeah, I opened up there was this geezer, bless him. I don't think he was that old. He might have been like 19, 20. One time I opened the hatch to give me a sandwich. He's sitting on the radiator with his leg up, man, knocking one out.
Oh.
And then another time I opened the hatch and his face was right there. And I thought, oh, mate, it just sort of jumped out my skin. I went, here, mate, here's your sandwich. And then there was a geezer that they had on the level below, and he was a problem guy. He looked like Grossberger out of Stir Crazy. And I'm thinking, oh God, please don't put me in a cell with this geezer. And this bloke had a dirty protest in his cell, right? So he smeared shit everywhere, all up the walls, everywhere. And he's corrupted the boy in his cell opposite and made him set fire to his cell and block the toilet up.
No.
So where me and Craig are the orderlies, like we've come, we've gone up, put these white suits on and that, and come down there like the Chemical Brothers, right? And we've got the job of clearing the downstairs, like bailing out the water because they'd flooded it. And I remember bailing out the water, and I remember giving this guy that had the dirty protest a couple of cheese and pickle sandwiches the day before, and I just see this chunk of pickle go past me in the water.
Oh.
Right, and I just thought, oh, man, I shouldn't be here. But we got on with it anyway. We cleared it up and that, and then the governor gave us a couple of packets of burn, like Ball Brand. It was like a really harsh tobacco. It was like they couldn't be bothered to grind it down properly. Yeah, I have that because it's cheap.
What happened? What happened to the guy opposite? He made him set fire to himself?
No, he made him set fire to his cell and flood it. Block up the toilet and flood it. So all the downstairs was flooded. And me and this Craig, we was the ones that, like, he was the guy I was sharing the cell with. I still remember my number. It was JM4393.
Gosh, and you had that on the back of your shirt?
I don't know if it was on your. No, you didn't have it on your clothes because we was in control of doing all the washing and that as well. So it was just pure tracksuits and that. You know what I mean? Just pure. That's all people walked about in. But that was your number. I remember it. I'll never forget it.
So was it depressing in there at night times, or not really depressing?
It was. I think if you work when you're in there, then it takes the sting out of it. And also, I wasn't locked up when other people were locked up because I was an orderly doing all the mopping up, and you're mopping up all day long and clearing up and, you know, getting all the washing together and putting that where that needs to go. And then Craig is a red band. He'd go across the other bit and come back with the food. And we're serving up the food. After all of that, everyone's banged back up. We got to go round, mop up, wash up. You know what I mean? All of that sort of stuff. So if you're doing that, from you get up in the morning, you come out the cell, you go down the stairs, because I was up on it. You got the 1s, the 2s and the 3s, and I was up on the 3s. And then you come down, and you're in a sort of a line to get out that bit of the building. And then you all go out in the yard, and then you're all sort of lined up along the wall, and like you're ready to be shot. You know what I mean? And then you're all sent off to your different allocated workplaces or whatever you're doing. And you know, it was only a month I was in there for. And I am thankful for the experience, because it showed me that I don't belong in a place like that. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. I was a singer. All I wanted to do was make R&B. Now I'm in prison because people want to be a problem with me and set me up because someone knows someone that knows someone. And this is all coming from the ex-manager. I don't care what anyone says. But, you know, I've got to separate the two. You know, I've got to separate the two. And the evidence that I've got here against News International is overwhelming, and I just don't see how much longer they can get away with this for. Because more and more people.
What happened with your ex? Did she keep the house and your daughter?
My ex, no, she. What happened was I ended up going bankrupt and losing everything. But out of that, the house got sold, and she did get about 90 grand or something. But of course, then she wasn't entitled to legal aid, and the solicitors come in and nabbed most of it off of her. You know, so no one wins. And my ability, but the thing that annoys me the most is that they took away my ability to be able to do anything for my daughter. That, you know what I mean? As a man, I mean, I've never missed a birthday or Christmas and that, you know what I mean? But as a man, and these people take away your ability to do what it is you do, you're lost. What are you going to do? You can't even look after your daughter. That didn't help with the depression. You know what I mean? It was just, I just shouldn't have been in that position. And none of this ever happened to anyone else in E17. You know, it's only me. Why me? Why am I targeted? I've never sold a story on anyone, Christine. I've never done anything wrong to anyone. You know what I mean? I ain't a rapist. I ain't a wrong 'un. Do you know what I mean? I'm none of these things, but I'm being treated like one. I feel like I'm being treated like one. They're treating me like I'm like a terrorist. I feel like an outsider sort of terrorist in my own country. Like they got their opinion of me and what they think I'm about, but what they need to do is walk in my shoes and then understand. Does this feel fair? Does this feel fair to you now? You're walking in my shoes. Do you get it now? You know, what have I done? All I've done is earn a lot of people a hell of a lot of money to be left with mental problems because the press keep fucking with me all these years. And that's what's done it to me. That's what's ruined it. There was already something in there embedded, but then press bought it out. Ruined me. And what
do you think? What do you mean? What was embedded? Excuse me.
Well, obviously, like there's bipolar. Do you know what I mean? These things are, you know, there was some things when I was a kid. I remember seeing a school psychologist. At the time, I couldn't understand why you want me to talk to this bloke. I was just laughing. You know what I mean? You have a laugh. You play up when you're at school. I was the one that probably played up in the class, and they'd be like, you know, something wrong with this kid. But maybe it was coming across like that, but I didn't see it because you're a kid, didn't you? You don't, you know, what's the matter? Leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing wrong? So I'm having a laugh. I'm bored of you, class. It's crap. I don't feel like I'm learning anything. I think what it was, Christine, was I realised very early on, this is all bollocks. All of it. School, the indoctrination of your children. To do what? To do what? If you can read and write, you can add up and you know right from wrong. What do you need school for? Because all of these people that are going college or these student loans, are they all ending up with the jobs and that at the end of it that they're promised? No, they're not. Other people from other countries are coming over here and doing it a hell of a lot cheaper. So, no, you can go to the back. Same with the housing. Same with the employment support allowance. Any kind of benefits. Our own people are getting done over here. And you mustn't say nothing about it because they go, oh, you're racist. No, we're not. We're just stating the obvious. You sort your own people out in your own country, the people that are born and bred here first. And once we're all right, then we can help other people. Do you know what I mean? It's common sense.
I know it's
political correctness has gone through the roof, and which I do not adhere to none of it. I'm going to say what I want when I want from now on, and no one's going to stop me. Be offended. Nothing happens.
I don't think the public will. The public haven't got a bad opinion of you. I'm pretty sure of that because they know what the news of the world are like.
Yeah,
they know, you know, they set people up.
It's just frustrating being the one, you know. It's just frustrating, that's all. But, you know, like I say, you can't mess with my evidence. You just can't. You can't beat it. And I know that they don't like the fact that it's coming from someone like me. I
don't understand why now you can't get. Well, really, Hacked Off should help you, but we know that all they care about is getting the people that have got a lot of money and getting Graham Johnson to find out this, that, and the other about the Daily Mail, and you know they want to destroy the Sun, they want to destroy the Mail. Fair enough, you know, but why aren't they helping?
Why? What's their agenda? Do you know what I mean? What's their agenda?
They want to destroy. Right? They want to destroy the Mail.
Why?
Because the Mail is, I would say, bitched off about Lily Allen, bitched off about Heather Mills, bitched off about Hugh Grant, and they're like a sort of mafia of celebrities, so they want to slap back.
Oh, it's all pop, innit? All dancing around a load of rubbish issues when the real actual proof is right here, right in front of me. We could finish Murdoch and his empire tomorrow morning, but no one wants to do it.
It doesn't seem to me to be about someone who's a proper victim, you know, like you were, and you were set up, you were entrapped, and therefore you should get. I mean, that's why I thought Greg was gonna. I thought he was gonna help you in some way. I just don't really understand.
He wasn't going to help. He was there. I mean, the fact that he's even taken a second call on the Monday to me speaks volumes. They're worried, and I know they're worried. And they can try and convince me that they're not worried as much as they like. They are popping it. But they know. Did
you ask him?
They know that I ain't got the money to fund a solicitor myself. So if there is any solicitors out there that are listening that ain't scared of Rupert Murdoch, then come on board. Bless you.
That's what Hacked Off is. Excuse me, sneezing. I got flu.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's what Hacked Off is supposed to be for. Yeah, I know. But they're, you know, I can confirm to you that they're not doing what people think that they're supposed to be doing and what they're about. They're not, because if they was blatantly, they'd be taking my evidence and ruining the paper with it. Instead, they're hiring the opposition. 3 people so far: Graham Johnson, Mulcair, and Greg Miskill. That is wrong. That is just blatantly wrong. And once again, it speaks volumes. Why would you do that? And all of these people, they can't just come up and talk straight because they've got too much to cover up. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to remember now. I've got to steer away from the connection of Mazza and Glenn Mulcair. That's right. Yeah, we were sticking to that story, wasn't we? Okay. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Brian. I can't read. It was 16 years ago. I can't remember. But I can remember every single detail of Millie Dowler and to the end of a fart. Mate, you don't make no sense. You're trying to distance yourself. If you can't remember, then let me jog your memory, Greg, and send you all their police witness statements. Then maybe you'll remember. But my guess is that you already remember. And what do you think? I believe that you haven't all sat down and had a meeting and gone, okay, everyone, how are we going to play this? You're rubbish, mate. One man is doing a lot of you, and I'm going to do all of you. So, and I will never stop, and I will never stop until you turn around and recognise what you've done to me.
Oh, excuse
never.
me.
I'm never going to stop.
So you really should get this lawyer who can work for free.
No one will touch me. No one will touch me. No one will touch me. I've spoken to Hugh Grant's lawyer. I've spoken to John Alford's lawyer. I've spoken to probably about 30 different on a list through the Law Society. I've gone to see, what's his name? Bloke that looks like David Cameron. What's his name? Oh, God, I can't remember. He's a civil barrister anyway. He's no good to me. No, like I said...
hang on, what do they say?
Well, they all say the same thing. Oh, yeah, we know Comrade Brad. Oh, yeah, we could tell you loads about him. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So what are you looking for, Brian? Well, I'm not looking for 15 grand, put it that way. I'm not looking for 15 grand, what they're trying to offer me. Are you having a laugh? 16 years? No, let's go from 1997. Let's go from the day that the News of the World printed, Brian Harvey's having a breakdown, he's not well. Yeah, that was because of you, right? And how did you know that? Because you was listening to my messages back then. They print on the 9th of February, Brian Harvey's having a breakdown. I mean, I've got my doctor's letter from the 5th of February. They were listening to the messages and the calls on the phone back then. That's how they knew to be the first to print it. From that point, they started working with my ex-wife. That's when this all begins.
And were you in the Priory when you had your breakdown?
No, I took myself voluntary to a place called Naysbury Court, which is 2 miles from my house. And I went there voluntary, and I've done that twice.
What happened?
Just before my nan died, I went there, which was a little while before I went in the jungle, and I went in there just after my granddad died. And when I took my granddad into hospital, before while he was in there a few days before he died, that is on page 58 of the top of the Mulcair note, 11th of the 1203. That was the day. That
means they were continually listening to your calls.
Constantly, so they're having a laugh. Why don't I matter? Why don't I matter? Why is it that I don't matter? But I matter every Christmas and I can sell all these records, but I'm always the one that ends up in this strange situation. What am I doing over here on my own, on benefits? I sold 22 million records. Why's Tony got a big ass? Why the other two pretending that I don't exist? And you got Robbie Craig in the group. What's happened here? What's happened to the world? It's been turned on its head. It's like I'm in the Twilight Zone. This is ridiculous. And the longer it carries on, while I know all of these things about everyone, it's just making me angry. And I'm going up and I'm going down. I'm going up and I'm going down. But I'll tell you what, I've got the evidence on all of these people. See you, Tom Watkins, ex-manager, E17. You're finished. You know what I'm coming with. I'm just waiting for Puddick to have me arrested, and I'm going to drop it on you, mate. Yeah? Try me. Jonathan King, try me, mate. Try me. Yeah? Because this year, some things are going to change. All these bloody nonsense that we got in Parliament, we want them out. Queen, what are you doing? Step up and do something. Driving about in a £40 million gold carriage, waving your hand out the window. Do something. Homeless people out there now. Homeless people out there now, in this cold, Born and bred in this country. Do you care? No. Let's put Towie on and watch everyone ponce about with money that have never been to work in their life. Ridiculous, this country. It is just a walking, hypocritical, pretend, false front. Even when Theresa May speaks, do you believe a word that comes out of her mouth? Nothing. All of these people
actually
cover up everything. Can't have a decent inquiry into anything. And why? We all know why. We know there's paedophiles in government, and the chief whips are going to protect them. And that ranges out as far as music managers and casting couches in America. It's everywhere, in every part of the industry. And they're running the show. Why? Because they're Freemasons. Freemasons. We run the courts. We run the old bells. Why, you never get anywhere, Brian. Hope you're taking all this in. There's no one to tell. Well, I will tell. I'll tell the public in the country. And one day they'll listen, because I keep getting made right on everything that I've been saying for the past 6 years. And I will be made right in the end of this before I die.
I don't blame you. How did you feel when you had your breakdown after your grandfather died? Did you just kind of feel really, really sad, or?
God, mate, I was just, I don't know. I didn't know how to feel. Do you know what I mean? It was just, there's just always so much going on all the time, and everything seems to just come at once. I don't get a chance to take things in till later, because it all comes at once. And and then there's always weird circumstances with everything to do with me. Even when I had my car accident, I was in the very same bed in the same hospital where my granddad died. I even feel that was done on purpose. I'll tell you another truth. My best mate Reese that died, right, who's on all this phone tapping evidence along with me, right, he recently died in Spain just over a year ago. And the story that went in the paper was that he died drowning, saving his daughter, right? Now, I know the geezer's a good swimmer. So I'll tell you what I think. I reckon one of these News of the World slags have put something in his drink, right? And he's gone in the water, and it's come on him while he's in the water, and he's panicked and tried to get his daughter out. I reckon these people have got something to do with it. Isn't it funny that my mate's dead and he was phone tapped as well, and I got all the paperwork with him all over it? Do you think I'm stupid, News UK? Is that how far you're going to go? Or are you going to set up another Fernbridge witness that I can go and interview, with Robert Kellaway being in the background, and get the next witness to say my phone hacking solicitor, Richard Mallet, who you're working with, Duncan Larkham? Do you think I'm stupid?
I wonder why were they listening to him? Was he famous?
Well, no, Reese was just my mate. My mate Reese is the one that this Zorba guy's gone to, who set me up. The only reason that I spoke to this Zorba bloke is because Zorba approached my friend Reese and told him that he'd do a statement for me because he's had an affair with my missus. So, of course, I'm going to ring him. They knew what they were doing from day one. It's all there in black and white. It's all been worked out for you, all done for you.
And how did he die? Sorry, tell me again.
He drowned. He drowned, apparently. And I'm hearing a couple of different stories. I'm hearing he by the time they pulled him out of the water, he drowned on the boat. Then I'm hearing no, he was still all right until they got on the beach. And when they got on the beach, he collapsed. And then Carly, his missus, has come back with his other kid and seen a ring of people around someone on the beach. Don't know who it is yet, till little Ruby comes walking out, going, his dad. They've killed my mate. They've killed my mate. And let's face it, you tried to kill me in 2001, didn't you, with a machete in the head? And then got yourselves out of it when I ain't got no solicitor, when you do your sting operation on me and put me in prison and get me to do the video line up on it then. I told the police the day before, I told them Nottingham police not to come down while I'm in there. I'm not in the right frame of mind and I ain't got a solicitor. They ignored it, woke me up 6 o'clock the next morning and took me over to do the video line up because they're all involved. That's why, because they're all involved. And I want to know what I've done. What is it I've done? And I want to know who it is. I want to know who it is. I want to know who's targeting me. Because whoever you are, mate, I'm going to get you. Yeah? I'm going to get you. Whoever you are. Someone's going to give you up soon. And if it's you, Tom, God help you, mate. God help you. You're going to hell anyway, mate, for the way you've lived your dirty life. Don't ever forget that. You can pray all you want. It ain't going to help. It's too late for some people, and you're one of them, mate. And the rest of your little gang. Jimmy Savile, Jonathan King, Chris Denning, and all that little noncy lot. Warwick Spinks, the child molester or filmmaker or whatever he was. He just so happened to be in Hastings, Tom, where you live. There was a little window a little while back where he was released from prison. I think he ran away to Prague. There was a little window when he was in the same area as you. Am I to believe that you don't know this bloke, knowing what a dirty cretin you are? And I bet you know him. I know Andrew Ash says he knows him. So Andrew Ash knows you, Tom Watkins, and Andrew Ash also knows you, Warwick Spinks. So I'm guessing you all know each other. So you want to go there? We're going to go there this year. Because I'm having no more of it. You're not taking another year of my life away while I sit there and hold this bollocks. I'm going to talk straight and you ain't going to like it. None of you. And News of the World, that means you and all. And if you think I don't know that you know Watkins and you've been doing him favours, which is why you set me up and target me, don't take me for an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I know you thought I was some depressed, washed up idiot, but I've actually got a brain and I'm smarter than you. All you've got to do.
Oh, hang on, Brian. We're going to commercials. Can you mute up for 2 minutes? Just 2 minutes. Stay with us, please.